dangerous.
Whoa.
Oh,
definitely dangerous.
Bike, yeah.
Did you see that right there? It looked like that car was actually making now we're on the wrong side of the road, was making a beeline for that pedestrians, the bicyclists.
Welcome to Viral Twist, a simple chase turned into a shocking and emotional moment you won't believe.
They have the guys on the ground. You can see two of them right there. Domestic violence is about the best we're going to say right now for what that suspect is originally wanted for. But I can tell you that vehicle has been running red lights, pretty much every red light, as we make our way up to another major right here. Now the vehicle speeds, well, let's just say reasonable. Haven't been extremely high. There you go through another red light right there, but it's been continuing southbound on this on La Brea, and it's just been making its way into the LAX's airspace. Hopefully you'll make a turn here somewhere, otherwise Skyfox might have to break off for a little bit to reacquire this pursuit. But LAPD, they're definitely on the ground right there, two vehicles. This has been going on for a few minutes. It was off of Western for the longest amount of time, started over by the Coliseum and made its way over here to La Brea, and then it made that turn to the south. But the driver is continuing running the red lights. You can see right there those speeds. They are about what the freeway speed should be. We are actually in the Inglewood area right now, and that vehicle continues to move southbound. LAPD staying right behind it in full pursuit. Another red light right there. Every time that happens, I got to tell you, my heart does kind of skip a beat, because I'm always worried for any of the civilians that might be in that area that may be caught in that cross traffic.
Hey, Stu, so do we know how many people are in this car?
Well, right now we know that there definitely is just the driver in there, and you can see it's continuing southbound. And again, when they have these domestic dispute type of calls, those are usually the most dangerous for LAPD in general. Not sure exactly how this started, and we heard something about, and again, this is also unconfirmed information, something about that driver possibly being following a bus with the spouse in there, or the partner in that bus, and that's what got LAPD's attention. When they got behind it, that's when that pursuit started. Chris doing an amazing job with Skyfox. We keep climbing just to keep this shot up. I'm hopeful that he'll make a turn somewhere around here and make this easier for us, because I don't want to break away from it, but right now we still have pretty clear view of it, but we can't make our way any farther south because of the traffic landing at LAX. So we're kind of staying here. The car is continuing to go farther and farther away. Are they pit approved? Well, LAPD, we heard the word a couple of times, but we haven't seen an opportunity for that unit to be able to make that pit maneuver. So right now, you can see that vehicle just continuing southbound on La Brea, running almost every red light. LAPD doing what they can to stay behind it. My pilot, Chris, doing an amazing job. We're actually making our way over to the 405, but at this altitude, we can keep an eye on what's going on as long as it doesn't get behind these buildings. But again, Brooke, this is a pursuit, domestic violence suspect in there. And again, usually those are generally one of the most dangerous type of calls. And you can see that vehicle making driving over the center divider right there. So possibly making a U-turn. I got to get a hold of my pilot, Chris. Chris, he's making a U-turn. He's going northbound. He's going northbound, Chris.
The direction they came from.
They did hear me.
Stu, on one note, obviously domestic dispute calls are known to be some of the most dangerous for officers, and also traffic calls of any kind known to be the most dangerous. And so this, in some ways, pairs the two, and so you can just kind of put in perspective the importance of getting this vehicle off the road.
Definitely, and whenever it's anything domestic, it always becomes emotional, and when the emotions are involved, all reason. Most of the time, when we follow these pursuits, people ask me, "Is like, what do you think they're thinking?" You don't think they're thinking much of anything, and when you start throwing emotions in there, it really just opens up the door for something that could end poorly. We're actually making a U-turn, so we are going to be getting closer to it. That car continuing on. Now we're on the wrong side of the road right there. Now making its way northbound on La Brea, basically just going back from the same direction where it came. But the speeds, I gotta say, for some reason they're staying in relatively well, now I'm seeing 70 miles an hour. I don't think they're actually going 70 miles an hour, but they've been relatively normal. I'm not saying anything outrageous, but definitely continuing to weave in and out. Traffic getting close to other vehicles, driving on the wrong side of the road. Anytime that any of that's happening, I'm always more worried about the other vehicles that are on the road with that driver.
Yeah, police pretty close behind this car, and just obviously it seems obvious, but just watching the car go, down the turning lane, in the center lane, driving straight down the whole time, slowly moving through these very busy intersections, this is just incredibly dangerous.
Whoa.
Oh,
definitely dangerous.
Bike, yeah.
Did you see that right there? It looked like
terrifying.
That car was actually making now we're on the wrong side of the road, was making a beeline for that pedestrians, the bicyclists. It was like almost a threatening move. A lot of times, look at that. Oh, geez. Could you just imagine being right here, on Stalker right here?
That's what I just keep thinking of. You just have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, and you're kind of stuck in those lanes right there. They had the center divider. Now we're back on the right side of the road, but you're just driving along on Stalker, and then all of a sudden you've got this car going the wrong way. And then they had an LAPD vehicle there as well. They do what they can, and a lot of times I've talked to a lot of folks about that, and they're just like, why don't they just ram it? Why don't they? Because you just can't. That's not you just can't do that. It just doesn't work that way, especially here in Los Angeles. So they have protocol in place, and they cannot just smash into a suspect's vehicle, and especially somebody. And again, we haven't heard the words of any kind of being armed, but they always have to assume the worst and hope for the best. That's basically law enforcement in its finest. That's the best they can do. Right now, though, you got the LAPD in force behind it. You got a number of vehicles again following. Again, luckily, we are back on the right side of the road, or the correct side of the road, but that vehicle continues to elude officers, and hopefully we're not going to see any kind of posturing like we saw just moments ago, where that vehicle apparently, or seemed like it was actually targeting some pedestrians there on the side of the road. Thank goodness nobody got hurt. But again, this pursuit's continuing out here. Now we're in the Windsor Park area, and again, speeds, well, they are above whatever the posted limit is, but that vehicle, as well as I do, that Maserati can do a lot better than that, and is keeping within reason, but still, as far as any other laws of street laws, not at all. Wrong side of the road, running red lights, anything you can imagine. Thank goodness there were no other vehicles there, and now making another turn. Now we're back onto Jefferson, and this is where this thing started. This is where we picked this up earlier on. So basically making a big giant loop. Don't know what's going on. Hopefully this person is working through whatever emotions they might be having right now, and might come up with a relatively calm answer and just pull over, get out of that vehicle, try and run. But let's just hope that nobody gets hurt. Yeah, and you saw, oh, look at this. I guess we're going home.
Seems like they're pulling into a driveway there.
Looks like they're pulling into a back of an apartment complex right here. This is definitely going to be off of West Street, and you got some folks out front. Where Skyfox is going to move around. We're going to try to get to the back there. But clearly there's something that these folks know what's going on. That vehicle stopping, the door open. Sorry, we are. We get to see that suspect getting out of the vehicle, and just basically kind of park the vehicle and getting inside. Maybe not the most dramatic ending, but definitely the endings that we want to see. Like right now, that vehicle definitely stopped. Law enforcement, you can see the helicopter above. Officers arriving here on scene. This may turn into some sort of standoff, but clearly that driver parking the vehicle, going inside this apartment complex. We're going to listen in to see if we can get some information.
All right, we're going to.
That's not the ending. So the shots have been fired. The suspect is definitely down. And apparently he came out to the front, and he did have a weapon, and was posturing, and now that suspect is down. Brooke, I don't know if we can get in any tighter, because there are family members down there as well, but definitely shots fired.